What's up, guys? I'm Joe, and welcome to Quick Thoughts. This is a new thing I'm going to be trying for albums that I have missed so far. Whether it be due to time constraints, general laziness, or otherwise, it's just albums that I listened to that I didn't have that much to say that it would warrant a full review. I'm going to do these videos where I just take a whole bunch of them and give you my very quick thoughts about them. Again, these are all albums that I listened to, probably with the intent of reviewing, but either just didn't get to, didn't have enough to say, forgot about, got lazy, etc. Let's go. We got Kesha Rainbow. Kesha is an artist that, I never, totally disliked. I always thought she was pretty good. I'm not a big pop fan, but, I never really, minded her songs if they came on the radio. I always thought they were pretty decent. And this album was, quite a surprise. A lot more introspective than we've, come to hear from Kesha. I personally like the collaborations with the Eagles of Death Metal here. I like that she's getting into the sort of rock side with some of these songs. Or even the song like Woman going into a sort of funky, jazzy type feel. You have acoustic-like tracks. You have great ballads such as Praying. Overall, just a lot of great variety on here, and that's why I thought it was particularly good. And again, just a lot more introspective than we've come to expect from Kesha. Obviously reflecting on personal events she's gone through fairly recently. So I definitely like this one a lot. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Up next, the debut self-titled record from Prophets of Rage. This is the band Rage Against the Machine collaborating with members of Public Enemy and Cypress Hill. Going into it, I thought it would be something that would be pretty cool, because the band Rage Against the Machine, they always had rap vocals going on. And Public Enemy, one of the most influential rap acts of all time. But, as a lot of supergroups go, this, was pretty underwhelming. It felt like a kind of, restrained, laid-back version of Rage Against the Machine. The riffs never quite hit as hard. I found a lot of the vocals to be pretty repetitive, and I kind of thought they were trying to tap into what Rage did, especially like Killing in the Name. Killing in the Name, very repetitive song, but just had the energy, the aggression, the controversial type nature to it, and just the insane and memorable riffs. That is not what you're getting here. Overall, I just found the album to be fairly dull. There's some decent moments here. I really like the song Hail to the Chief, actually. It's got a really nice beat to it, nice groove. Here's where I thought the riffs kind of stood out a little bit, and I just thought the performances overall were good. But, overall, just not a great record. I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. Next, we have Neck Deep, The Peace and the Panic. Neck Deep is a band that came on my radar fairly recently, earlier this year with their last record. And I really like that last one. To me, they're a band that kind of mixed, Blink-182 and like A Day to Remember. So I was really into that one. I was definitely looking forward to this one. I found it to be slightly underwhelming. It's definitely a lot lighter than the last record. Not as much aggression going on here, or energy rather. Songs are fairly light or fairly popular, definitely going more so into their pop-punk tendencies. But overall pretty well executed, not a bad album at all. My personal favorite is Don't Wait, because I think that has more of the darker energy to some of the songs the last record had. But then otherwise it's got some pretty bad moments like 1970-something, just a very campy sounding song that I didn't enjoy very much. But yeah, overall I'd give this one a 3.5 out of 5. Next we have Mutemath, Play Dead. An album that is pretty cool. It mixes, a lot of indie rock sensibility with electronics, but in like a fairly unique kind of way. I found the electronic sides of this to not be, particularly in line with what everyone else is doing as far as like rock bands that mix electronics in. They're not going for like a poppier vibe with them. Overall, I really enjoyed this album. I think it really hits its stride in the middle here. The song's Nuisance, Placed on Hold, Everything's New. Placed on Hold in particular, you have this great kind of progressive sound to it throughout. I like the acoustic vibe going on here, but with like the very driving nature of the song. It builds to this huge outro with just, a fantastic lead vocal, a nice epic feel to it. The instruments are swirling all around it. Definitely the highlight of the album for me. Overall, I'd give this Mutemath album a 4 out of 5. And finally, to conclude this quick thoughts video, we have Cradle of Filth's new album, Cryptoriana. I think this band's been on a pretty good streak, honestly, with the last couple of records. Just coming out with very solid metal releases. They've been a kind of hit or miss throughout their career. I like their earlier work, such as Midian. They kind of lost me, through most of the later part of their career. But I think the last few records, they've definitely been back, especially Hammer of the Witch is the last one. It's just really great. That lineup continues on here. just coming out with very solid metal songs. But I think they've definitely amped up the aggression and the sort of gothic nature of their earlier work. So this is very much a return to form for them, this album. Ultimately one I would give a 4 out of 5. So there you have it, my quick thoughts on 5 albums. I'll probably do these periodically. Stuff just kind of falls off the radar, other albums take precedent, or otherwise just have more things to say about other albums. Even stuff that I do really enjoy, sometimes it's just not enough to talk about for 10 minutes or so. So let me know what you think of these kinds of videos. Let me know what you think of these albums as well. And definitely don't forget to subscribe and check out some other videos on the channel. So thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.